Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to bring you the next interview in my Be Good to You video series with someone. This story is so incredible. I can't even sit still. I'm so excited to share Corey Stallings' amazing life transformation. And he is just a rock star. And so, Corey, thank you so much for taking the time out of your really busy schedule, apparently, to get this interview done. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, I apologize for all the delays and mishaps today. I know we've been trying to get connected here for a while now, so I appreciate you working with me and giving me so much grace.
Absolutely. No, this is the bottom line. This is worth the time, buddy. So share with me your health story and how you weren't being good to you.
I really, I'm 41 years old, and my not being good to me goes back clear to the beginning. I guess I never really knew how to take care of myself to be good to myself. My entire family is unhealthy and overweight for the most part, or the majority of them are anyway. My mother was overweight. She was a diabetic. She was unhealthy, and that's what we grew up with. That's what we thought was the normal. So it was very different for me to think any other way, to imagine being healthy. And what's a vegetable? I don't eat those. Those are the things you scrape off to the side so you can get to the meat and sauce, right? So yeah, I spent my whole life not being good to me, and fortunately I was a super active person. And I did a lot of manual labor work when I was younger, and that was able to fend off some of the severe impacts of the poor health, my poor eating habits, and my lack of activity on the weekends and things like that. So, it kind of culminated, I guess, October of last year. It's been just over a year ago that I made a decision to be good to myself and choose myself over my desires and my bad habits, I guess. So I had pushed myself to a staggering 476 pounds at this time last year. My knees were shot. My back was a mess. I could barely stand for more than 5 or 10 minutes without starting to be in severe pain. And I had found myself, I got to a point where I would actually find myself, I would be jealous. I would be angry just from watching people stand. I would be in worship at church, and I would be watching the people up on the stage, standing up there dancing and worshiping, and they just looked so free and so happy. And I was even bitter about things like that because everything hurt. Everything was a challenge. I had backed away from my family. I backed away from all of our social activities. I had cut off most all of my friends. I was basically living a shell of a life. I would get up in the morning, maybe a half an hour before I needed to be at work. I would throw on some clothes, drive to work, and come and sit at my desk all day. And then when work got over, I would get up, drive home, and go sit on the couch all night. I didn't want to go to bed because I couldn't sleep well. I couldn't roll around in the bed because my back hurt so bad, but I couldn't lay on my back because my back hurt so bad. It was just a miserable existence. And, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back was last year in October, early part of October, I went to a football game for my youngest son. And I walked from the car to the field, which was about a 100 to 150 yard walk, which was hard enough as it was. But then when I got there, I was so ashamed of the way I looked and the way I felt that I wouldn't go up on the grandstand and sit with the rest of the parents. So I chose to stand on the sideline and watch the game in pain. And then I walked back to the car after the game was over. And when I got back to the car, I was in so much pain that I couldn't feel anything from the chest down. I was numb. I had to sit in the car for about 20 minutes actually in order to feel my feet again so I could feel the pedals to drive home. And I was broken. I started crying. I started praying and asking God, why? Why am I like this? What's wrong with me? Why am I broken like this? And if you love me, why won't you help me? Why won't you fix me? Whatever's wrong inside, fix it. And in an instant, a name popped into my head, and it was a good friend of mine that I've known for several years now, David Burrier. I think you've interviewed David on here before. I didn't know David was a health coach. I didn't know that he had any, amazing answers or, any bombshells for me, but I knew that he and his wife had lost weight, and I knew they were keeping it off, and that was attractive. I wanted to know more, if he did it, maybe I could do it too. Maybe he could tell me his secrets. So I called him, and he was gracious enough to speak to me. And, a year later, I've lost almost half of my body weight at this point. And so much more than that. So much more than that is the difference that it's made in my mental clarity, in my marriage, in my relationship with my voice, in my worship. It's affected every part of my life. And I never expected that. I expected, sure, I could maybe lose some weight. Maybe I'd lose 50 pounds, or maybe I'd lose 100 pounds at the most. And maybe I'd just start feeling like my old self again. But it's, that old trite saying that you don't know how bad it is until it's not bad anymore. That is so true. I had no idea how bad life had gotten. I had no idea the turmoil I was putting my wife and kids through. I had no idea how lax I had gotten at my job. All of those things. I had no idea how bad it had gotten until it wasn't bad anymore. And, I can't put a price tag on that.
Corey. Oh my gosh. I mean, wow. That's the only word that I can come up with is wow. And what an epic thing you have done for not only yourself, but all of those who absolutely adore you. You have given them the gift of a healthy Corey. And I know you're not done yet. Okay.
No, I am not done yet. I've got a ways to go still. I have more plans. I've got about another 45, 43 pounds that I want to lose to get to my original goal. But it's really cool. When I originally talked to David about how much weight I wanted to lose, I told him I wanted to get down to 250 pounds. What he heard was I wanted to lose 250 pounds. So when he said, okay, your goal is you want to lose 250 pounds, and we wrote it down, I went, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter what he says because it's not going to work for me anyway. What's the difference between 225 pounds and 250 pounds? It's an unattainable goal either way. I mean, who loses that kind of weight, right? But now, and for quite a while now, I've gotten so much more confidence in my ability to continue on to whatever goal I set for myself that I may not stop at 225. I might decide to go a little bit lower than that. So I don't know, because I don't know what 225 will look like. I don't know how I'll feel at that point, because it's been since like 7th grade since I was that small. So I don't know as an adult what that'll feel like. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I look forward to watching the journey still. So let me ask you a question. So what habits and mental well-being practices do you do on a daily basis to be good to you?
I'm just so much more mindful. This whole thing, anything in life really is 90% mindset. And so that's what I really focus on mostly. I have a lot of big reasons why I need to be healthy. first and foremost is I have a wife I fully intend to grow old with, and very close in second place to that is I have 3 boys that I intend to be around for, to see weddings and to see grandkids and all of those wonderful things when they grow up. So every day I tell myself, today is going to be a good day because I've got a lot to live for. I've got a lot of people counting on me, and I'm not going to let them down anymore. You know, that's probably the biggest thing is the mind game, and keeping my head in it, because I've been at this for over a year now, and there are days that it gets tough. You know, not every day is sunshine and lollipops, right? So, you know, that's probably first and foremost. Other than that, you know, I just try to, I try to be a little bit more active. I don't really do a whole lot of dedicated exercise that I know I really should start doing. But I try to do a little extra. I try to take the long way around. I try to park a little farther away, you know, all of those things. And that, you know, kind of goes back to the being mindful thing again. And besides that, I schedule my meals. I schedule my time of eating. And I try to keep myself out of situations where I don't need to be, so that I don't get as tempted as I used to. You know, all those little things add up to big wins.
Absolutely. Well, I can see the 3 Ys behind you, your 3 sons behind you, and those.
Yeah, right up there.
I get it. My Ys are right up there, so I get it. You know, those kids are, man, are they a good Y, right? And
That's
as
right.
I said before, Y is what heals you, and those
That's
kids are what heals you. Your wife is what heals you. But the bottom line is, Corey, is that you're doing the work, man. You are doing the work, and you are a walking testimony that you can actually give yourself back years. And that is so cool. That is so very cool. So in closing, I would love to know, what advice would you give to others to encourage them to be good to themselves? Because you are in such a dark place that the idea of having someone give you encouragement was probably like, here's another somebody trying to tell me that my life can be sunshine and rainbows, right? Well, I don't know what that looks like. So what would your advice be to others?
You know, I guess I would just say you're worth it. You know, even if you don't feel like you're worth it, even though you feel like everybody else is more important, you can't pour from an empty cup. And you can't give away what you don't have. And in order to get it, you have to realize that you are worth it. And once you come to that realization, and it's hard to swallow because we're taught not to think about ourselves, put others first, you know, take care of others. As a husband, I'm a provider. I need to take care of my wife and my kids. But what I really came back to was the reality that until I took care of myself, I couldn't take care of them the way they needed to be. You're worth it. You know, you have so much to offer, and there's so many people counting on you, whether that's your kids, whether that's a wife, a husband, grandkids, friends, coworkers. You have an impact on people all around you every day, whether you realize it or not. People are watching you, and you can't be the best version of yourself until you learn to take care of yourself and know deep down inside that you're worth it.
I'm going to leave it at that, Corey. I'm going to leave it at that, man. I want to interview you a year from now and see what Corey is up to, because I'm sure he's going to be scaling mountains and doing all sorts of stuff, right? So with that being said, thank you so much, Corey. Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I know that your words have touched someone today. And so you just remember that you are an exact example of what be good to you means. Self-love and self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. So thank you again, Corey. God bless you.
Bye.